You're doing Looksmaxxing to get girls. Let's just get this out of the way. You're doing it to get girls. Don't be egoistic and say, oh, I'm only doing it for myself. Just like with guys who go to the gym, they say like, we're not doing it for you. Yes, you do. You're doing it for women. And women do a lot of stuff for men. Both of the genders do a lot of stuff for the opposite gender. It's in our nature. It's in our biology. It's in our instincts. We do so many stuff to get the attention of the opposite gender, to elevate ourselves in the dating markets. That's what we do. That's why we increase our value, just so we could have better opportunities in the dating market. So be humble, because if you don't be humble, you're not gonna learn. And also stop watching BlackPill content. I know it's very addictive. I know it's very interesting, and there are some truths in it. But there's a lot of stuff that you don't understand about it. What you don't understand is that hundreds of thousands of men who watch BlackPill content, they think that just because they're not 6'3", just because they don't have super chiseled cheekbones or like so handsome, it's over, everything is over, and they can barely get any attention from girls whatsoever. Which is definitely not true, but that's what the BlackPill content does. It makes you so hopeless that you give up on the dating scene and become a MGTOW or something like that. I want to tell you this. All these streamers that you see, like clavicular, like androgenic, all these people who online like get on Omegle and like show themselves, and girls are like thirsting on them, and in real life they go to parties and some girls are like all over them. Let me tell you this, you don't actually want that, okay? You actually would not want something like that, because the only girls that those people are getting are shallow, terrible women who have basically no morals, and their only standard is looks and nothing else, basically. That's why you see that streamer guy, clavicular, he's like humiliating women. Like when they get into his house, he literally has a scale that they go up to, and it's kind of funny, but those are the type of women that go there. A woman who respects herself, a woman who has good values, good morals, will not go for men like that, because those men are empty on the inside, and those men are so shallow as well, because the only thing that they did is focusing on their looks and not developing their personality, which is what matters a lot for women. Look, you just gotta do basic stuff. You don't need to do all those weird things like getting a surgery, like hitting yourself with hammer, or like mirroring 24/7. You don't need to do those stuff. All you need to do is some basic stuff, which will work, because a lot of men don't do those basic stuff. But you don't need to go overboard with it, and you don't need to be obsessed with it. And they do work. Do you want me to prove myself that they do work? I can prove myself very easily. I want you to, whenever you go outside next time, I want you to just look around. Look at all of the couples that you see at the outside. You will see a lot of ugly men getting with pretty women, super pretty women, that you'll be like, what the hell? How did he get that woman? You look at the guy and he doesn't look necessarily super rich. I see a lot of guys at the outside like that all the time. Like I had a friend who was fat and he was telling me he cannot get women because of his looks. And I was like showing him whenever we go outside, I was like, look at him, look at that guy, look at this guy. They're all with pretty women, and they're uglier than you and they're fatter than you. You don't need to look super good. It's definitely better. It will definitely elevate you if you look good, but you don't need to obsess over it, and you don't need to be hopeless over it. That's my point. So again, look at the eyes of those people. Look at the eyes of those streamers. It's literally empty inside. They're literally dead inside. Why? Because they don't have meaningful relationships in their life. I remember one time, like I got food poisoning, and my girlfriend was like supporting me on the call. She was like with me 24/7, and I looked like shit. I looked terrible, like way worse than how I look right now. But she was so supportive because she loved me for who I am. She didn't love me just because of my looks, or mainly because of my looks. And I realized at that time, that if I had very shallow relationships like these people, they would have left me. My girlfriends would have left me, or they would have been like very annoyed that I looked ugly and I looked weak. You need deep, real connection. You need real love. You need to be with a woman who's smart and also have very good morals, and also is beautiful as well. And it's not too hard to get a woman like that. It's not. You can get a woman like that. You just gotta work on yourself a little bit. Trust me, you don't want the lives of those streamers. You don't want the lives of those people who take their shirt off and they go to Omegle and they see all of these women who go crazy for them. A real woman would not go crazy for them. A real woman would be like disgusted, would be like, what the hell are you doing? Trying to get attention like a whore. What's wrong with you? And you might be telling me those women are very rare, they don't exist, which is not true. How many women did you met in your life? Huh? I shot this video yesterday. I didn't realize my battery died, so I shaved. I bought myself a new chair, but that doesn't matter. My point was, of course looks matter. Of course your looks will open so many doors for you. But when you enter from those doors, they will check your character. They will see how you built your character from scratch. And if you're so shallow inside, you will only attract shallow people. You will attract shallow friends. You will attract shallow women. If you're someone who's shallow, who only focused on their looks, you will attract the same type of friends. You will attract the same type of woman. And that's a terrible life to live. That's an empty life to live. I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of ugly guys who are so sympathetic, who are so confident that everybody likes them. So confidence and being sympathetic, understanding people is way more effective than everything. So it doesn't matter if you're 5'7" or you're 160 centimeters tall, or you're Indian, or your nose looks too big, or your face looks bad, or it's asymmetrical. It doesn't matter. You can still work on yourself. And if you work on yourself, you will pass the general of the population, because general of the population, general of men, do not work on themselves. When you work on your confidence, when you work on your talking skills, when you work on your physique, when you work on your looks, you will be ahead of so many people. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's over because you're black, because you're brown, because you're short. It doesn't matter. You can still be confident. You can still get with any woman you want. You can still live a great life. So build yourself. Stop watching BlackPill content. And do not ever be hopeless, no matter what.